keep it private, but I can always delete those recordings. So
Well, nobody will know.
yeah, what they don't know won't kill them, right? I'm gonna mute our audio. Now it put Rachel into our thing.
Good.
No, I don't need the guest in here. I need them to go to where they can watch it. I don't know. They must have changed something in their settings, and I didn't read about it.
Yeah.
Never had this happen. Stupid fucking updates they always do, man. Right when you go.
Welcome to the computer world.
Huh?
Welcome to the computer world, brother.
Rachel, you're in the stream as that's okay. You know what? We don't have that many. I'm going to let it happen like that. Can you hear us, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That way, if we need you to talk or anything, I'm going to mute your mic. But if we need you to talk, Dwight, welcome.
Hey, I just got in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties. We had just a couple of them, and we finally got Dusty in here. So we are going to we're going to allow y'all to be part of the deal tonight. And inside the studio with us because the webinar thing was giving me trouble. Okay,
that's cool. I don't have video. I don't have a camera hooked up to my computer.
You don't have to have a camera, Bubba. You don't need one.
All right, cool.
And I'm going to mute y'all's audio till we need y'all. If you need anything, you can hit the comments or the private chat. The private chat's probably the best option, so the public doesn't see it.
Oh, okay.
You see the private chat to the right?
Yeah, I got private chat.
Yeah, don't mess with my settings.
I'm gonna say hello. Make sure it works. There.
All right, perfect. All right, so let me do this. Yeah, I see you, Dwight. All right, cool. So if anyone outside of us, once we get started, if anyone needs, put a 7 in the private chat if you want to say something or you have a question, and let's do it that way. Does that sound good, Dusty?
That'd be great.
Yeah, that way we can get this rocking and rolling. So, man, this is impromptu. It's the first one that Dusty and I have done, and what we're just trying to do is we're just trying to help, man. We're trying to get out there and reach out to as many artists as we can, and do something that doesn't get done in our industry. And what that is that's people that that we need that are helping, dude, instead of just trying to take money and not do anything in return. And I know that some of y'all have been through that, and some of y'all know that it's really hard, and you don't know, man, what do I do? What's my next step? Rachel, you're actually a promoter yourself, and you work with artists too. Is that correct? And I have you unmuted, Rachel. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm bringing you on. Yeah, and you actually do promotions and stuff too, right?
Yes, sir. I work and promote for Marshall right now, and trying to work for others, but I'm fairly new at everything, so I'm trying to learn.
All right. Well, do you want to share with everybody what your experience is and your background real quick, and then I'm going to let Dusty do the same thing, and then I'll do the same thing, and we'll get into it, y'all.
Okay. Well, really, I got into this whole thing about 3 years ago, when Marshall was posting that he needed help promoting, and he kind of taught me how to get into the different groups and different social media pages and post the posters and put events out so that people will come to his shows. And I go out and network and to music events to meet people to promote his music and CDs and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've had Marshall on a show before, so I know exactly who you're talking about. He's had a couple songs out to radio and all of that good stuff. You know what? Being a new promoter, I want to get your feedback. so these artists understand, how hard is it being a new promoter to serve your clients?
Oh, it's really hard, especially when you're new and you really haven't done it before. Building the network and meeting people and trying to make the connections, it's really hard because a lot of people just they don't want to help you or do anything unless until you're more well known, so that they can trust you and stuff. It's just really hard to be able to promote it and get stuff out there and get people out there because they don't know who you are when you're new.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. It can be a real pain in the rear is what it can be.
It's very stressful.
So, a lot of times, and Dusty, I'm going to let you tell a little bit about your backstory and how you got into doing what you're doing. This is Dusty Moats. If you don't know who he is, he's with Powerhouse Promotions. But first and foremost, he's an artist just like all of you. He just happened to take a step like I did into the other side of things so he could help everybody out and share this knowledge, because just like me, and the reason why Dusty and I get along and see eye to eye is that we're seeing a change in our industry, and some of the old school people that have gotten comfortable in their ways are not embracing it. In fact, they're making it more abrasive, and that's not helping anybody that's getting into the industry understand what they need to do to move the needle forward and to get to the next level. So what we're doing is we're spinning our wheels in the mud, and people are using up resources that they need for recordings and equipment and to get a bus and pay a team. And we're using it on radio promotion, and radio promotion's getting a bad rap because of it. So that's why I got off stage and came to this side of it and started Texas Internet Radio Chart, started my own station, the Texas Internet Radio. That's why Dusty and I, we talked about it. We formed the Texas Internet Radio Association, which he is one of the board members. Cynthia Garcia was going to join us, but she had previous engagements. She was going to be a special guest. She's also on the board, and there's several others too. If they pop in, if you're watching this, please drop a comment. Let us know if you have a question or anything. Drop your comments or your questions in the comments there. There's only a couple. There's 3 people that are in here in the studio with us. That's Rachel White and hey Scott, I see you popped in too. The rest of you, I'm seeing 9 right now. The rest of you are watching on Facebook or YouTube. So thanks for joining us. Dusty, go ahead and tell them about yourself.
I'm actually first and foremost an artist, and I actually dove into the promotions part. I actually don't even like to call it promotions. I like to call it marketing and advertising area of artistry, man, simply out of necessity. I was told when I first started releasing music that the only way that you could get on radio was have a promoter. And I of course, I'm one of those guys that said, oh yeah, okay, you have to have one. And then you kind of go through this whole rigmarole. And I started diving into it myself. I come from a sales and marketing background. I was a VP of sales and marketing for a large staffing organization for a number of years. And we were using a bunch of marketing and promotions techniques and advertising techniques to get our services and products out there and get attention from Fortune 50, Fortune 100, and Fortune 500 companies. And so, man, I had just kind of started innovating in regards to what I wanted to do as an artist. And I'd started out with just email and pursuing, gathering information, gathering data. And I'm from that kind of humble beginnings as to what I'm doing now, where I'm running full-fledged advertising, marketing, and promotions campaigns for over 35 different artists. And honestly, one of the reason why I'm doing it is because I ran a couple of beta tests, is because guys just asked me if I could help them because it was such an undertaking in regards to cost effectiveness. It was extremely expensive. And then when you start conveying, ROI and value of what you were actually getting for what they were charging, it just didn't make any sense. And as an artist, being able to take those monies to do other things, and we're going to talk about that today, better recordings, better artwork, better work with social media marketing has just been instrumental in what we're doing with the group of folks that we're working with. So I'm really excited to share the information just because, man, at the end of the day, my decision to do this was based upon helping others and really empowering other artists to have the opportunity to do this kind of thing themselves and virtually take control of their own careers. They still have a use for promoters, advertisers, marketers. That word just sticks. But man, we definitely have some room for artists to be in the driver's seat themselves and actually utilize us as assistants, and also really kind of accentuate what they're trying to do with their processing and their stuff to radio. Another thing I can also say is that you're talking to the only two guys in the industry right now that I know of, especially here in Texas, that are actually looking for innovative and new ways to actually not just build your tastemaker base in radio, but build your tastemaker base on Spotify. So not only we promoting and shooting music and trying to get people to add people to radio stations, we're doing a lot of work to get you added to Spotify and have Spotify streams, because man, you're actually getting ROI from every time something, some return on investment and some monetary value from when they're spending. So there's not anybody else doing that, and they're not even thinking about it. There's no forethought to how they can help. Really, basically, most of these guys aren't thinking about it for whatever reason, whether it's because they have to spend money to do things, but we're just doing a lot of things different, and it's real artist minded and really geared towards helping the artists. So that's how I got into it, man. And I'm still a musician. I'm still pushing a single right now, Ride Along Song. That's why we call it For Artists by Artists with Powerhouse Promotions.
I love that, Dusty, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because if there's anyone that understands how busy I am, it's you, because you're right there with me. And I know the rest of you are busy too, but you're going to find out really quick if you ever get into multiple things. I myself also a performing artist, singer, songwriter for many, many years. I spent 2 decades doing music on and off. 10 years, the last 10 years was my real hard run at it, where I did it full time for a living. And I was able, everybody's definition and level of success is something different when they get into this game. And what I mean by that is you might not want to be a superstar like George Strait. You might just want to be able to do what you love. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you just want to make a comfortable living and be able to do your music, or be a songwriter even, and collect mailbox money. Maybe you want to get in like Rachel, the management, and start working with artists. No matter what you're here for, we just decided as artists that, there was nobody that could probably be better at explaining it than an artist to another artist. And I think Dusty can tap in on that one and tell you that, when somebody from a promoter explains it to you, they're protecting their best interest, right? They're not trying to screw you. They're not trying to play games with you. They worked their ass off to get where they're at, guys. Let's have a little respect for what they do. And you know what? They don't understand what you're going through, and you don't understand what they're going through. Trust me. You have no idea. Look at the bags under my eyes, y'all. I'm telling you, man. And Dusty can attest. Every time he's been talking to me for the last year, what have I told you? I'm tired, man.
Yep. And at the end of the day, what winds up happening is, man, when you're kind of looking at it from the perspective that we are, where we're trying to help, you wind up putting your flag in a bunch of different causes, and it winds up expending a whole lot of energy, being able to do things so you can become good at them. I guess that's the only way to do it. Mark's running the chart. He's also running the Texas Internet Radio Association. He's also doing promotion. He's become an advocate for independent artists, and that's kind of the thing that I talk about too. There's a whole list of stuff. He works a regular job. We all struggle with time management, and so at the end of the day, I think he's talking about the respect for what people have, the amount of time that they've invested. There's definitely truth to that. So, and
just for the record, I made more touring, playing acoustic gigs than I ever have as a radio promoter or doing any of this shit. So, but I didn't do it for that. I stepped down because I saw a problem in our music scene, and I saw the ways of Nashville invading the Texas music scene and sneaking into it. And we'll cover a little bit of that. We're not going to get into that. We're not hating on anybody. We're not talking shit. The only thing that we're doing tonight is that we are educating. We're sharing the knowledge that we have and the information that we have, and what we feel, in our opinion, is the direction of modern day music marketing and advertising. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're not doing radio promotion anymore. Those days are done. I mean, really, honestly, they are. With everything going on, you got to be playing. I want you guys to think about, we'll start with this. First of all, the one question that I want to ask you guys right off the rip, and I want everybody to drop in the comment section, whether you're an industry professional, an artist, a fan, somebody just watching this, and you have your own business maybe, do you have a website? If you do, drop a number 1 in the chat. If you do not, drop a number 2. If you don't know what a website is, drop a number 3 in the chat. Let's see what we get. Comments or chat, either one, y'all. For those of you that are on in here with us. Oh, we lost. We lost. Who we lose? Rachel? She might be going the other way. I didn't kick her out, y'all. There she is. She's back. Okay. I was like, where'd she go? So anyway, let's see. Dusty, you got a website.
Yep.
Nice. Dwight does not. Rachel, no website. You got to get one, sweetheart. You're in the industry side. You've got to have one. Artists, you guys got to have one too. And Scott has a website. Good job, Scott. I'm gonna put my one in there. Mark has a website too. So,
let me share something with you guys. With what Mark's saying, and I'll tell you something funny. You know, we really lose sight, and randomly I was doing this. I'll tell you how valuable a website is. And this is from yesterday, something I was looking at. Man, last month alone on my artist website, I had 627 visitors in 30 days. I never realized that I'm thinking that's becoming antiquated. I'm thinking that, man, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. And man, just looking at that data alone, the average amount of time that was spent on it was about 9 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's last month alone. So man, when you think about it from that perspective, yeah, man, and listen, I'm going to tell you guys, if you don't have one, I can see why you think, oh, social's taking over. After seeing that data right there, you think nobody's out there watching, but they are. And you're talking, what, $15 a month that it costs? And they actually have design services that you can actually use templates and plug and play. It doesn't have to be this multifunctional, millions of dollars or thousands of dollars website. You can do a lot of stuff with some of the products and services that they offer just individually right now.
No, you're absolutely right. And the importance of a website, y'all, is this. If you don't have one and you're not using it as your top of funnel, I'm not saying it's the most important piece, but I'm saying it's the most important piece, and here's why. Let me give you a scenario. If you have over 10,000 followers on your music page, artist page, industry page, or you have 5,000 followers on your personal Facebook page, go ahead and in the comments, chat, whatever, drop a number 1. And if you do not, put a number 2. I'm curious on this, and then I'll tell you why. And then I want to show you all something on what Dusty was talking about the amount of visitors that we have, available to us. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Dusty. So you got 10,000? Rachel
I've got 24,000 followers on my music Facebook page, and then on Powerhouse we're about 2,200.
Nice. And that's a new page. So that's excellent growth for the time that you've been there. And I know that's organic growth because I know what you're doing. And that's important too. And we're going to talk about that too, guys. I want y'all to take a look. I'm going to present a screen for you really quick. I'm going to share with you, and I've got a couple websites. I have websites everywhere. I do have my own marketing platform. I do also own a marketing agency. If you guys haven't seen that around SMG Marketing and Creative, I do full-blown websites. I can do all your SEO for you. I can do your social media, but I can do everything. And I've got a fully developed team. It's not just me. That's the only place I have any help, Dusty. I have it's a third-party team that I've developed that I use whenever I need some stuff fulfilled that I don't have time to do. Now, I do all the website stuff, and I work with my clients one-on-one directly, and I don't let anybody else touch my clients. The only time that happens is if they're using one of those services. Then I'm gonna farm out, so to speak, for the agency purposes. But I'm gonna share this with you, and I want you guys to just take a look really quickly at a little statistic. Now I'm going to show you the Texas Internet Radio chart. And I want y'all to look at something. Look at the stats right there. Now, the Texas Internet Radio chart is the newest chart in Texas that has a panel of reporting stations. When we first started, we had less than, I think the first year we were at about 600 average people, the first year. The second year, we were averaging about 9,000, and this year we're up to 21,000 average views a month. That's average every month is what we're getting. And that is a huge blessing. It goes to show you that, you know, I thought it would blow up the first year. I was dead wrong. We never know what something's going to do, and we can't just quit when it doesn't do what we want to do. I want to talk a little bit about that too, Dusty, and I know that you got a lot to add to that too, about having the patience and the perseverance and being dedicated and not taking things the wrong way, and being able to take criticism and listen to constructive feedback, you know, that you can use to make yourself better. But the purpose of this, for those of you that have over 10,000 followers, I want to ask you a question. And I'm glad I think both of you have a web. No, Rachel, you need to get the damn website, and here's why. Let me ask you what happens. Let's say Scott, Dusty, Rachel, you got over 10,000 followers or at 10,000 followers on your Facebook, and all of a sudden you post something because you're upset one day and Facebook bans you. I mean, bans you, like takes you off the platform for what you did. What happened to your 10,000 followers?
Gone. Blink of an eye.
Guys, we are in a place where we're being censored, we're being monitored, we're being watched. The only place they can't do that to you other than watch is your website. They cannot take away what you've earned and what you've got people to opt into email lists and registration forms and marketing permissions and things like that. If you guys aren't utilizing something like Constant Contact, GMass, you know, and doing some email marketing, you need to look into that. And you know, either Dusty or I are happy. If you ever want to reach out, you need some help, man, reach out to us. It's not always about money. We'll point you in the right direction. If you want some real professional help, then yeah, you got to pay us. I mean, we're not going to do it for free. Nobody can work for free. You shouldn't either. And we'll talk a little bit more about that too, maybe in another webinar, because I know Dusty had some really good points that he wanted to talk on tonight. So Dusty, I'm going to let you take over for a minute, but guys, get a website. If you don't have one, I'll build you one for free. Reach out to me after the show, and all you got to pay is to activate it and a small monthly hosting fee. It's on the AWS platform. It is a modernized, badass website from hell and back. And I'm going to turn it over to Dusty.
Okay, guys, man, in my mind, I have a very systematic approach to how I do this. As a promoter, you know, this webinar is called "Are You Ready for Radio?" As a promoter, I pay attention to about 8 different things when I'm associating whether an artist is ready for radio. First and foremost, man, if somebody's bringing something to me to look at, I'm looking at the quality of studio production. Y'all, you know, we've all heard those songs that come out that, man, you can tell they may or may not have spent a lot of money on it, but you can tell that it hasn't had the time or the value or the care taken to record. Guys, the reality is there's multiple studios around here that run anywhere from $1,500 to $2,300 a song that will give you a fully produced, in key, in time, completely mastered studio mix. And I can name off 5 of them right now if you're wanting your artist to work with those, your artist to find one that I know off the top of my head that I work with extensively that can give that what you're looking for. As a promoter too, guys, let me keep this in your mind. Sometimes our opinions don't matter. It's not about opinion. It's about the quality, right? It's about what it sounds like. I have a very specific taste of what I like in music. You can listen to my own and you can tell that there's specific things that I like. But the reality is, man, you don't have to like something to respect it and be able to pick out some really nice positive things that will show that that's radio ready. Another thing that you're seeing with trends in regards to studio production is that, you know, program directors are very reluctant to play things that just aren't there. They're just not ready. I've had guys contact me with acoustic tracks. I tell them no. I've had guys, you know, if it's not well done, they've done it in their garage. The challenge is, man, you can't do things of that nature and send it out to radio and expect to have the results that you want. You didn't put any time investment or monetary investment or quality investment in it. You're not going to get the results out of it that you want. That's period. And that's coming from me as a musician, as a producer, as an artist that does multiple different things, as a promoter, advertiser, marketer, music connoisseur, music critic, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, I can listen to that and tell, man, we have guys, and listen, we talk about this all the time. There are people, and I'm going to use this word, there are vultures in this industry because there are dollars to be made and things to be done that are charging you for things that have no business being charged. We see it from every entry, from studio production, graphic arts, to digital distribution, to instrumentation, to everything, promotion. They're charging way too much money and you're not getting what you pay for. And I can tell you, I also see people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on promotion and spend $300, $400, $500 on a studio production. And then they're upset with the results that they get. And at the end of the day,
and then it's the industry's fault, and it's the promoter's fault, and it's the radio station's fault. No, it's your fault.
That's your, well, and the other thing, flip that. A great song with great production will stand on its own with or without a promoter, guys. That's the reality. It will catch fire. I've seen some stuff just here recently where guys, it's actually one of Mark's clients, that a man has a great song, a great sound, very well produced. He climbed in the first couple of weeks, man. And man, you can't take away the quality of that production.
Number 59 this week on the Texas Country Music Chart. Yep.
He's doing, he's doing great.
He broke through on the T3R2 on the printed. And that's for one of my clients, dude, that's one of the hardest charts that we work, guys. And there's a reason for that. But we're not going to talk about that in this webinar. We'll cover that in another thing, a more chart specific webinar that we'll do in another series. But
go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you had a thought.
Well, Pug's got that's a great example of somebody that's debut single is done really well, very distinctive sound. Pug is not my kind of music that I would listen to, but I love it. And man, I'm going to tell you something. When you work with him,
right? It's something different.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, guys. When I played with him the other night, he played a show with me a week ago. He sounds just like the record, dude.
I know.
It's not overproduced. He's got a really, and he's a cool cat, man. So
he's authentic as hell, ain't he?
Yeah, he's the real deal, dude. And that's like the fourth or fifth time I played with him. But at the end of the day, that's the first piece. Guys, you got to give your artists, if you're a promoter, you got to give them a plan. You got to make sure you hold them accountable to production. Okay. And man, sometimes an average song can be made into a great song by a great production team that comes in with signature guitar licks, signature licks from the music and the arrangement. So when you look at it from that perspective, you want to give your clients the best opportunity they can succeed. It starts with studio production. Number two, man, this is something that, man, I work a lot with Smith, and some people like them, some people don't, but I can tell you what they have taught me and what I've learned from these guys has been absolutely imperative to my success. Single artwork. Nobody really thinks about this. You can't just take some picture of you live off of some live shot and stick some stuff on there and put your name. It has to be something that is iconic. And what I mean by iconic, man, think of the triangle with the rainbow shooting out of it. Who do you think of? Pink Floyd, right? Think of people that have iconic artwork that stands the test of time with an album or with a single. Okay, man, it has to be a great representation of the song. It has to be a great representation of the artist. I lost you, Mark. What'd you say?
I said, right over here on the wall is a Pink Floyd poster, man. That's what I just looked at it and I was like, that's Pink Floyd.
Well, so think about it. It's iconic, right? And man, I got to tell you, the first couple single artwork that I had were really bad. And that's because nobody was coaching me. They were great pictures, but there was nothing to it. And you can kind of see from the transition for me, not that they're great right now, but you can see me evolve and start learning that that picture makes a difference. Think about this. When you see something on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, what catches your eye first? It's a picture, isn't it? That's what makes you click. That's what makes you look. That's what makes you comment. That's what those pictures, if you notice when you do that Facebook, when you want some engagement, it's like, man, name your band. They don't read anything in the caption. They just look at the picture. Man, and I can show you data from me doing Facebook beta testing the last 3 months where that's happened. So that picture matters. Spend some money on it. Get a great artist to do it that develops. There's logos. Pecos McCool does a great job with hand-drawn logos. There's so many different artwork. Man, Texas Country Music Association, I forget this girl's name, but I've seen 4 or 5 single artworks that she's done for very cost-effective money. It's Linda's daughter. That man is off the chain, man. It's off the chain. They're great. Matthew Shane band.
You taught me something new, and I hope all of you get something new out of this. And remember, even from the newest person, you can learn something.
Oh, and you just got to listen. Everybody's doing something cool. But guys, remember that single artwork. It really matters because that's the first thing they see of your single. Dude, anybody that gets an email from me, Mark knows this, man, it's color coordinated. It's decorated. It's got the single artwork. Everything matches up. It's interactive. You can click. That's before they even listen to the song. And
it's called branding.
It's visually appealing. It's a branding, right? Yeah. And so that single artwork's a branding. Last thing, third thing, excuse me. You got to have a digital distributor that quickly gets you an ISRC code, has a high quality WAV and MP3 that they deliver for you, for not just for Spotify, but just so that you have access. That's part of your planning because your release is not just radio. Do you know how many guys, program directors that I know, actually go to digital distributors and rip singles when they hear it off of the stations? They rip them, they grab them, and they play them. I know 4 or 5 right now, that do that. And so you want to make sure that all that stuff's in line. All your metadata is inside of that when you turn it over to a distributor. They're responsible for giving that for you. Truthfully, if you really wanted to know, the studio would be the best ones that would be the best suited to do it, but very little studios assign you an ISRC code anymore. I have had some that have, Mark, if you can actually believe that. That was one of the conversations you and I had when we first talked 3 years ago. But there are a couple studios that are doing it now that I've run into. But guys, make sure that data, you get that immediately so you can share that as soon as you can, because the moment anybody catches whiff of the single, if it's somebody that you're working with that has built a brand, they're going to grab it immediately. And if somebody does grab it by chance, you want to make sure all that information is locked inside of the metadata and the digital and in that piece, okay, on both your WAV and your MP3. The number 4 thing, guys, we just talked about this. Mark was asking about websites, websites and things of that nature. Okay, hold on one second. I see you tried AI generated artwork for cover art. So funny story. One of my best friends in the world, and also somebody that I do some work for, Jesse Jennings, ironically today on my phone sent me some AR generated artwork for cover art. Now I will tell you, it fit the tone of the song, meaning that, man, the song's called Pat Green. It's about sitting out by the lake with a girl, listening to Pat Green, loving up on somebody, right? The moon's going to shine on the lake. It heard every word and it created that picture. But the one thing about it, man, AI just hasn't gotten to the point to where it's giving you that real human feel. You've seen those songwriter generators. I don't know if you've seen that. I've played with all that stuff to see what it does. While you get content from them, it's still not that personal content, at least in my opinion. It's still not in that personal content that really signifies some individualism and really just makes you grab it. I don't know if I can show it to you. I actually have it on my phone. Let's see if I can show you. If you can see
if it'll let you present a screen there, Dusty. It should let
you. Well, it's on
it.
my cell. I'm actually on my laptop, and I didn't know somebody's going to ask that question. But it's like, see that right there? That's AI generated artwork right there.
Nice.
So it's not bad, dude. Hey, listen, there's actually some cool stuff coming with that, right? I was on a podcast. So you're talking about AI. I started a podcast called Texas Country Today. And man, the AI is actually editing it for you. So you don't have to edit out all your holes. and man, looks for all the weird spots inside of it, and it'll take it out for you. But it's getting close. It's getting close. It's just not where it needs to be yet. But dude, look at that. Did we ever think we'd ever had time you can enter something in and for free that we'd give you this artwork, right?
But there's another thing too. By a show of number ones, how many of you are using Chat GPT, OpenAI?
Using what?
For your copy. It's called OpenAI. It's from Chat GPT. It's artificial intelligence.
Yep.
You can use it for copy. You can use it to write website bios. You can use it for your song descriptions. You can use it for a lot of things.
Well, and I'll tell you, I've actually played with some of that. And man, what is it called, Mark, again?
Chat GPT. Make sure you get the OpenAI. That's the free one.
You know, I'll tell you another thing those things do. They'll also take copy that you've written yourself and actually grammatically correct it and give you better suggestions for words. So it's actually your copy, but just just elaborated on what you've done. So there's some really cool stuff that AI.
You guys, if you use that right, watch some tutorials. They're all over the web. Man, go to YouTube, Google that shit, y'all. So I see a lot of artists that come to me with the question that they could have got answered at Google. I'm sorry, if you'd have taken 2 minutes and put that question into Google, you would have gotten your answer really quick. You know, I don't know if you go through that, Dusty. You have people contact you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we do all the time.
I mean, we don't mind, guys. Hey, we've been there before. Trust me, we all started somewhere.
Well, and the crazy part about it is the more you educate, the more you'll be able to dive into a rabbit hole. The more you learn from these people, you'll dive into a rabbit hole and elaborate on what you're doing. So not to get discombobulated and get off in the weeds. Next, you guys talked about that. Social media. Is all your social media in order and ready for that release? Because Mark was talking a lot, you heard him talk about constant contact websites, but social media can fall under that too. Man, Facebook. Does your artist have an adequate Facebook? Does your artist have an adequate Instagram? Does your artist have a TikTok? Guys, I'm horrible at TikTok, but I have one, and I'm really learning and continually diving in and trying to learn and do more for myself so I can teach others so they can find themselves to be more effective. And there's a reason for all this. Is your YouTube? Do your artists have an artist YouTube that's ready to go? Because, you know, a lot of times your distributors will send a YouTube video that is the single artwork, which is iconic, right? But they'll have the song that plays. They can also put all their videos on that stuff. Website. Does your artist have their own email that somebody can find easily, that they can be tracked? If somebody hears their song, wants to do an interview, is it easily accessible? Is it easy to find? EPK, do they have an electronic press kit? Man, there's all kinds of cool little things. Linktree can substitute as an EPK. I personally don't have a one sheet. I use Linktree that has a click that anybody wants to find anything in one click, they can find it. And it's worked great for me.
You can
do
also
you guys have those kind of things? Do you have the ability to attach that to your emails when you're sending out your promoters? Guys, it is imperative that you have tools like that. And if you are not directing your artists, I will not release a song for anyone without knowing they have at least 80% of all those in order, period. Because, man, you know, you can get creative with your emails, with the things that you're sending out when you're sending things to program directors that they can click on, and it makes that email interactive and allows them to make the decision to do something themselves, which is, man, what we're going to talk about marketing here in a minute. And that's part of it. Always double check that. Fifth,
hey, Dusty, I want to do something real quick. I want to share a link with you guys that are here. And this is going to give you something if you are going to, it's something I use with my clients, and all of you are welcome to it, industry related or not. It's just an album release checklist is all it is.
Yep.
And I think what this will do for you guys is help you get organized. And I'm giving you an invitation to my personal SMG drive right now so you can pick this up. And it's my way of saying thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to drop it in the chat and also in the comments. And feel free to go grab that puppy and download it and save it and do not lose it, because there is some good stuff on that I think will help you out.
Dude,
and
I'm actually moving
that. Let me know and I will email it to you.
Yep. Guys, all of this stuff that's here, he's got some great stuff here. And we're doing a nice brush over right now. And I think we'll probably dive in more the next time we're together. The other piece, number 5, what's your promotion budget? You ever thought about it? What's your artist promotion budget? What are they wanting to spend? Let's be honest. It's really about where the rubber meets the road. And you as a promoter, as a person that's helping them do that, as a marketer and advertiser, you are responsible for helping them spend those dollars in the most effective way possible. How's that going to work? Right? That's our job. You want to be able to take what means they have. So let's be honest. Let's lay it out here for a minute. The reality of a single that you send to radio, if you do it in the context that we're talking, you're going to spend somewhere between $35,000 and $5,000 for production, social media marketing, radio promotion, marketing, advertising, not just in Texas, all over the world. So you guys, that's max. Well, you could spend a little bit more. There's lots of things you can do. But at the end of the day, that's what you're looking at budget for a single. Artwork, all of it. That's a really medium cost for what it takes to do this. Using somebody that is actually there to help you and not there to take your money in Texas. I'm just being honest. So, so when you think about that, have you sat down and asked them what their goals are? And so you can assess and tell them, hey man, this is where your budget's more well spent. Man, that can be a social media campaign to help get awareness with not just radio stations, but with listeners, right? With people that are generating, getting them to their Spotify. With radio, man, there is a reality. You can buy ads if you want to. I've learned that. I've never, until Mark will tell you, I've never bought any ads for an artist ever that we promoted. Not ever. But I have realized that, man, I want to support, because one of the reasons why I do that is I want the artist's music to stand on its own. That's what I want for myself. Amen. I want somebody to play my music because the artwork draws them in, they listen to it, and they like it. If they download it and put it on their platforms and on their radio stations, great. I don't want them to do it because I paid $500 for a banner ad that somebody can click on and request 9 million times. I want them to do it because they like my music or they like me. And man, and what happens is when you do that kind of thing, even if they don't technically like the song, if you build awareness, brand awareness, and artist awareness, they will still give you a few spins because they know you're hustling your ass off and working. Right? We know how that works. Mm-hmm. But those are the kind of things. That's our job. And in regards to helping artists, that's exactly what I did for myself. Their money, as much as I hate to say it, it's our money. Because man, at the end of the day, the more economical you treat this, meaning that, man, you give them the best bang for their buck or the best value, the more often they use you as a promoter, the more experience you get to give to other artists and to yourself, which is way more important than anything else. And then you also create an alliance of independent people that actually are doing similar things, working together to build their brands and also sharing those experiences and that information with each other. So huge, huge, huge. Knowing that promotion budget, you're responsible for it. Okay. Then you do this. If you're an artist and you know that that's what it's going to cost, what is the positive of using a promoter and what's the negative? Well, you have to sit there and decide. Your artist has to decide that. And I'm going to tell you something. With anybody I sit down with, I talk with them about that. Hey, what's been your experience with a promoter? What has happened? What has been the positives of it? What has been the negative situations have? What do you want to avoid this time? Because you know why? You're still in the service business. No matter which way you look at it, you are going to be their trusted advisor, but you want to make their experience with you and with radio, because it's got such a shitty rap already. You want to make it as pleasant as possible. Okay. That doesn't mean you're not direct. That doesn't mean you don't tell them what's going on. You just want to help them feel good about what they're doing. Because I'm going to tell you, there's way more that feel bad about it than it felt good. I'm just being honest. I know probably thousands of artists that have gone through this rigmarole, and rarely has there been a great experience. And so if we're really doing this to make a difference, that's what we're going to do. Okay. So you need to decide that. If you're not, are you ready to do the work yourself? Do you know what it means to do something consistently day in and day out? Every week, what do you do? Are you prepared to do that to get the success you need? So that's if you're not doing it. Okay. The other thing, when you do decide to do it, what are you targeting? One of the things Mark's doing that I think is really imperative in our industry, there's such a niche for just country music. With TIRA, I don't know if you guys know this, Mark has this amazing thought processes that's actually come to life now, where there are going to be other charts. There's going to be charts for blues. They're going to be charts for rock. And you guys know how our artists are diversifying. And a lot of great artists get left out because there is just a niche for a specific style, a specific type of music and just this one lane, right? So, man, you need to target your tastemakers. Do you use another separate distributor, CDX, CDTex? Who's going to send that out for you? How closely do you work with those guys? If it's not really a great Texas country song, and I say that affectionately, man, what do you do with them? You just tell them you can't work with them? How do you help that artist? Think about it from that perspective. I've been stuck with that.
I've had to turn down a lot of work too. And guys, it's not that we don't want to work with you. Understand this. When you start doing this and you take chances, and some gambles work out. Like, I'll be honest with you. I love Pug Johnson's sound. I thought, this dude's got his stuff together. He's authentic. He's the real deal. But I was really afraid about that song to radio. And that just goes to show it's not about what we like. It has nothing to do with what you like. It has to do with what the listeners want. It has to do with what the industry's looking for. And I'm going to tell you right now, this cross-genre stuff that some of y'all are doing, I'm going to tell you right now, you're on the right direction, because what's happening. It's happening right now. It's just like that 90s grunge rock alternative move, with Nirvana and all that stuff that kicked off. That's about to happen in our music scene. It's going to be that alternative rock country stuff. Watch. I'm telling you right now. They tried to make that rap country stuff, and it worked, but didn't stick. Watch where it goes from here. At least in our scene, I'm predicting that's what we're looking at.
Well, and Mark, the crazy thing about that is that, man, all these styles are merging together, whether we like it or not. They're merging together. The country music's merging together. We're seeing an influx of people that are, you're looking at Highway 30 coming to Dallas-Fort Worth. Have you seen the artist roster that's on that? No,
I haven't, man. Talk to me about it. It's got
blues, it's got rock, it's got Stained, it's got Co Wetzel, it's got Jake Worthington. Think about all that stuff together. How crazy is that? So they're catering to this wide population. And I know me, guys, question for all y'all, man, what is your musical experience like? Because we're in that era now that, man, we're even seeing it in commercial top 40 Nashville country. A lot of styles are merging together. We're doing the same thing down here. It's just not that mechanical or that automated or that digital sound, right? So Mark's dead on. I do want to point out something, guys. When you look at Mark's checklist, this overview that we put together right now it's in greater detail there. This is just a really good overview of what you're working for. Okay. So when you look at that, pay attention, because Mark's is also talking about what you do as an artist as well, right? Because I see touring plans.
It's a mix of management and artists together in that checklist, right, guys. Some of that stuff you would never touch if you had a promoter or a manager.
That's right.
You would never have to worry about some of it. They're going to make sure it's done right so you don't screw it up. And
but here's something you got to think about, guys. You're dealing with people 99% of the time that the only team they have is their boyfriend and girlfriend or their husband and their wife and you. That's it. So the more information you have, you've got to give them something to focus on and pay attention to. Do they always do that? No. But at least they are aware of what's going on. I'll tell you, when I talk with DJ at Smith Music, and this is a totally different entity, but it's application here. He talks about all these things you can do to market your music to the public, not just radio. But every time I talk to him, there's something new. And you know what I say to him? Dude, without a team, how do I focus on that? Just give me the top 10. the 10 most important things, guys. All these lists, that stuff that we're just talking about, it has those top 7, 8, 10 things that you need to focus on that really are going to take up all your time. Mark's list has all the other stuff that goes along with it. And based upon your screening and what you're doing with those artists, you're going to pay attention to what you're going to find that's important to them alongside of what you need to do to send that to radio. And it's a pretty good deal. There's some of that, man, that once you gain enough experience, you're just going to handle, and you're going to learn that if you talk about it, it just muddies the water, and it raises more questions, and it kind of interferes, with your job.
All right, guys, I'm dropping another freebie for you for joining us, another reward. And it is another thing that you will want to save. It's going into comments, and it is going definitely into the private chat. So you guys save that link, bookmark it, whatever. Go grab that out of the SMG Business Library and take that back with you and see what you can do. And you guys pull that up, man. It's kind of a release strategy for Rihanna's Anti album, and we're going to pull it up on screen. Give me just a minute here. Let me get that. Let me remove that old one, and we'll get a new one up there, Dusty. All right, here we go. And here it comes right there to you guys and girls, as it were. But if you take a look at this, you got to have a plan, guys, to get your stuff going. You got to know what you're doing before you start doing this. You do not want to try to piece this together with no knowledge of how this stuff works. So definitely read up on this stuff. There's some really good stuff that is in this information that I'm sharing with you that can at least point you in the right direction. Now, not one thing, nothing Dusty says or I say or anybody else in the industry or anybody that comes along after us. Nobody is 100% right about everything, but it just ain't going to happen. But you take the bits and pieces that work for you and for your situation, or try to apply something new, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. See? So I want you to read up on that plan, because, man, this is really forward thinking, and you really need to do that when you're going to go to radio. This is a big deal, man. When you go to radio, it's not just, I'm just going to throw a song against the wall and see if it sticks. And I see a lot of artists doing that nowadays, and it's because they don't know any better. And what you're really doing is you're giving all of those terrestrial PDs a reason to never spin your song ever again, or anything you put out in the future, because you're just going about it wrong. That's why this is called Are You Ready for Radio? Are you ready to be your own promoter? You think you are, but I'm going to tell you, you're probably not. And you can be if you do your due diligence and you're really adamant about it. Great, man. There are certain people that they have the work ethic and the drive and the knowledge to pull it off. And then there's others of you that are going to fail if you do it. And that's why they tell you to get a radio promoter. And I will tell you, man, it depends on what you're trying to do. Right, Dusty? I mean, what are you trying to do? What are your goals? I mean, where are you
I think that's part of what we're really talking about here. That's why I gave you a really large overview with really large bullet points of what you need initially to start. Because at the end of the day, I know people that are out there trying to do this and don't have 50% of the stuff we talked about in the bag, right? Or haven't worked on it. And so the end of the day, we are trying to, as a promoter, I'm not just talking about Mark and I, but if you're doing stuff for them, you need to be a catalyst for success. And I want to build on something that Mark said. I approach every promotion a little different. I try new things every time I promote somebody or market somebody.
Depends on the artist, depends on the song, depends on the marketing, the artwork, everything molds into what I'm going to do.
The other thing that's really crazy is also what we're learning. What used to be standard is not standard anymore. Used to be, man, over 3 minutes, the song wouldn't get played. Over 3 minutes, 30 seconds wouldn't get played. I've got 2 songs that are close to 5 minutes that are being spun right now. And I tried to tell them they needed a radio edit. We made a radio edit and they didn't take the radio edit. They took the long one, and it makes me laugh. So don't be afraid. Here's the thing. Don't be afraid to do things differently. Don't be afraid to do something different than all the people that are successful, because, man, we've got to be innovators. The other thing is, man, I'll tell you, when you go into this business as a promoter or as a marketer or an advertiser, and you're trying to get this music out there, man, there's things that we're doing. If it works, it disrupts the industry and it makes everybody else raise their game. We see that all the time. We see stuff that's working for stuff that we're doing, and other people are doing it as well because they see you're finding success with it. And when it's all said and done, the goal is to give the artists every opportunity that they need to succeed. And I'll tell you, I will say this: there are some artists, man, that you promote, and this is also another podcast, but you promote in Texas and they don't get as much traction, but you promote them around the world and all of a sudden they're adding on and it doesn't make any sense to you. Well, there's some reasoning behind that because, man, there's relationships that are built in this industry here that you haven't built brand awareness. You haven't built communication, which is all part of the grind that goes in with doing this every day. And I'll tell you, I still personally don't have the type of relationships I'd like to have, but a lot of that is strategic because I want the songs to stand on their own.
Here's
now, Mark
another thing. Yeah, well, hold on. Here's another thing. And I got to cut in here because if you go too far, it won't make sense later. You just said something very important about the building relationships. That is exactly the most important thing if you're new to radio that you have to do. And how you do that, if you're doing it yourself, you start with the internet stations. And let me tell you why. Those people do not have a corporation telling them how much they can play, what they can play, and what they will and won't play. They have a lot more freedom to program. They are your friends, especially if you're doing cross-genre stuff. And you need to support those stations. And by doing that, there is no money in radio. I promise you. I own a radio station. I own a TV network with 100 freaking television stations. There's no money in it. There's no money in it. The stations aren't there to make money. They do it because they love you guys and they're trying to help. But terrestrial radio is going to be in a big trouble and big problems. And they are right now. They're facing it. The streaming radio is getting very popular. The internet radio is getting very popular because of that reason, because people can find new stuff that they can't hear when they tune in on the FM and AM dial. They're able to find artists that they're really interested in learning more about and music that really makes them feel something. And then that's why we write. We want you to feel something. We want to share something amazing with you and make you feel it. And if you can do that, that's it right there. So you guys just make sure that you're focused on building those relationships you got to build a foundation. Start with those internet stations. I know you want your song spun on your big hometown Houston FM radio station, but you go hit that dude up and you hit him up wrong and come at him wrong and you're doing your own promotion. He's going to blacklist your ass and you're never going to get on that station. So you need to be very careful.
And the funny thing that I'll tell you is, we have stations that spin your material, but if you Mark, I don't know if you read the intro to Mark about the spam mail, and there are ways that it can be indicative of spam mail. That's where the marketing plan comes into place. I have built all my relationships through email, all of them, every relationship. And again, I believe that, I'll tell you this, guys, I believe that those relationships have happened because the quality of music that is being released that we're pushing for folks is so high that you just can't deny it. And if you give a good product, it's going to stand on its own. We have people that download music because they know that the quality is good. I've heard it. Talk with PDs, man. The marketing is great. I'm not calling them every week, wearing them out. Some people like that. Some people don't. I come from an old school of marketing and marketing and promotion and advertising, that, man, there was a shift happening. Now the phone's never going to die, guys. Let's talk about that. That relationship building's never going to die. Okay. You're always going to have to pick up the phone here and there and do some things. We do a little of that, but I will tell you the quality and the cleverness of your marketing that encourages people to click and download is going to be huge. Right. And so man, the better your emails look, the more informative, the more colorful. Dude, it's like, man, have you ever noticed how good a meal tastes when you eat it and it looks good? It's the same exact way. That's the premise. We're allowing the buyer, because really program directors are a buyer in my mind. We're allowing the buyer to choose what they consume. And that, if you give them the best product right off the bat, they have no choice. It improves the chances 400 or 500% that they're going to consume that product or consume that artist. So everybody's got some different ways that they do it. I believe that the artist should stand on their own, but I also know, man, I have some great relationships in radio doing this. Some have been made because they reached out to me and they heard the music. Some have been made because I've reached out to them. But by doing all of those things on that hot button list that we just gave you, it improves your chances by 500%. We've had some people say to us, oh, we're going to let the program directors decide what's good quality and what's not. Guys, all you got to do is do a side-by-side comparison of different songs. You can hear the sonic quality of material, especially when you're listening through. And so that's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, hey, man, does the guy, dude, is it in key? We know if something's in key. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. That's the only buffer I'm talking about. You allow, once you know it's past that quality check, then you allow the program director, because they can't deny a sonically pleasing single, even if it's different than the style that they want to. I heard somebody tell me one time that, man, Chris Stapleton can't sing. Yeah, I can see your face. Why is anybody playing that guy? He screams all the time. Dude, he's one of the most profound voices of our generation, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people, love him. The reality is, man, somebody's going to like everything, but the better the production, the greater chance that somebody's going to play it, download it, and people are going to like it, period.
I've got a little challenge for all of you right now. We're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about something that I know that probably Rachel runs into a lot. And maybe some of you others that are watching, either you're watching on Facebook Live, you might be watching on YouTube right now. Thank you for joining us. We are super excited to be able to be here for you. This has been a dream of mine since I started Texas Internet Radio. I had the vision that one day I want to start an association. And let me explain. The Texas Internet Radio Association it was founded on the panel from the Texas Internet Radio chart. That's why we did it. The internet radio stations really want to help the up and coming artists, and that's what we're there for. And that's guys, those are your best friends. If you're new to radio, you need to embrace those people and help them. And man, dude, if they got a little banner ad that they're running on their deal and it's 50, 75, $100, and you got a single that's going to go for 24 weeks to radio, man, support that station if they're spending your stuff. Even if they're not, you might want to support them so they're around. They might not be able to spin your song that time, but the next single you put out, they might pick up and remember that you supported them. And man, reach out and talk to those people. They're real people. They are. It's a little easier for you to reach out and talk to the internet industry people than it is for terrestrial. And there's a reason for that. The terrestrial people are bombarded even worse than we are. Guys, give them a break, man. Do your due diligence and at least get up on the charts with a couple singles before you start beating on big doors. I promise you it's going to work out a lot better for you. Earn the right to advance. There's no shortcuts. None.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, and you also can't buy sustained success.
No.
I'm going to share. I want to share a story.
Pay to play. No.
Mark, I'm going to share a story. I want to share a story, and it's something I'm dealing with right now. I have an artist that was on one main chart. The single cost him $7,200, okay, between ads and promotion, okay? He wound up in the top 60 on a main chart. He's got a song that's better than what the last one was, more commercially appealing, crosses more boundaries. You can see it in his streaming numbers. You can see it socially. And it is not doing as good. Like, it's dramatic how different it is. And the reality of it is, man, when you build a brand over time, in comparison to shooting your wad on $7,200 on one single, you would think that some of that brand awareness that he built with all of those would translate to the second single. It hasn't, no matter how much money he spent. Now, I wonder if you keep feeding the bear the $7,200 on top of the $2,000 that you spent on the single, if it would happen. You really never know, guys, because it's a crapshoot. And you gotta put some money in it. But at the end of the day, guys, you cannot buy sustained success. You can get initial success. Somebody's going to reward you for spending all that money, but they're not going to honor you when you come back in with another single. It just doesn't happen.
No,
And man, that's in every business, right? Well, you're only as good. You're only as good as, like, think if you being a sales guy. You're only as good as the best week you've had. What'd you do for me this week? That's really what this is about.
actually, it goes day by day in sales. I was in sales all my life, like you were. It's day by day. You're a hero today, and tomorrow.
That's right. And it's the same. It's the same exact thing. I want to share something with Mark, and I'm going to point out a station that I've become friends with, and a guy that's in another country. I had a podcast with a guy from Australia on last Friday morning, and Dax is a great human being, right, man? He wants to support, okay, and he is up to, I think he told me he's at 500 listeners a day now since he's added American music. And when I first started working with him, I was one of the only promoters or only marketers that was sending American music to him. And it was Texas music. Well, since we've been doing it, all kinds of people have. Well, this guy does this for next to nothing. And man, he's got singles. And I'm going to reiterate what Mark says. He's got a single, man. That it's $75 and it translates to 50 American dollars for you to be a single a week on his station, and he spends it. And man, by doing that, you're supporting that guy. And what I've noticed, every single my guys send to him from now on, he adds it and spins it and plays it. And I'm going to tell you, because it's guys like that I know that are starving in this industry. I mandate I put in my budget that we support that guy. We're going to send him an ad or send him a single of the week every station every single, because man, he takes care of us. You can go look at that chart right now, and he is supporting these artists. Their guys get more traction there than they are here.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. There is nothing that you can do that is too small or irrelevant. Everything is relevant that you're doing. Everything you do is being looked at by somebody somewhere. Everything you post, everything you say, and we're all guilty of it. I do it too. I know better. And sometimes I get in my feelings and I post something I probably shouldn't, right? And I try to be as vague as I can, but still, you can read the underlying tones. You can, guys, try to stop, try to control it as best as you can. If you go back the next day and it's not relevant, delete it before someone else sees it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you're free. And this is something I've learned. And you guys, if you follow my social media page, Mark will tell you, I do not post anything about what's going on in my personal life. I don't post anything about politics, religion, any of the topics of the day, radio. And so let's just talk radio. And because this is what we're talking about. We can bitch and we can moan and we can whine and we can talk shit and we can say how unfair this system is. It is the rules of the game that's here in Texas.
And they ain't going to change anytime soon.
You either learn to work around it and work with it, or don't do it. Because you complaining
or spend your investors' money and then end up with 30 fans that you can't sell to even 30 fans.
And because no matter what,
$100,000.
If you complain about it, they'll blackball you. Yep. Right. And so, man, and they know. And think about it from this perspective. I also know they're making a living too. Mm-hmm. People want to make a living. So that's the game, and you work within the confines of the rules. The football of the 70s, you could knock the shit out of somebody in the head. You can't do it anymore. But boy, if it was legal, we'd still be knocking in the head. Now you can't. Yep. Now you can't really even rough tackle because of concussions. This radio stuff.
It's going to go to flag football soon. There will be no more tackle football. Be a little Bud Light flag. Everybody will have Bud Light flag.
Yeah. Well, how it's supposed to be is never how it is, guys. That's really what I'm trying to say. And so, man, there's a lot of joy that comes from doing this as an artist and as a promoter. And man, it's easy to complain about the system. It's easy to complain about the rules instead of going out and actually doing the work.
Yeah, show up. Show up.
Instead of actually doing the work. Man, I will tell you, and I'm going to speak from my personal experience, and I want to share this because I want you guys to hear this because I think it's valuable. I have released 7 singles to radio, including a Christmas song. Every one of them have charted.
Yep.
Some have done better than others, but Mark will attest. And if you guys are following anything I'm doing, the last 2 have been really strong right out of the gate. It is not that my music is that much better or any better than anybody else's. It is 100% that I have built a brand with Powerhouse Promotions and with Dusty Motes, and they have seen me. And I have strategically looked at everything that I've done, and it was geared towards gathering radio tastemakers to support what I am doing. And even as far as, man, if I can tell you to tell your artist to do something that actually worked for me, write, record, and release an original Christmas song. Do you know why? Because, man, for that 2-month period, there's only about 40 people release, if that are releasing music, right? And you have a 2-month window that they are dying for Christmas content, and a relatively unknown artist that hasn't been making the impact that you feel that they think or should get seen alongside of all those, and they'll download every Christmas because you can only do 97 different recordings of Blue Christmas or Merry Christmas Baby, So guys, those are strategy points that you can give to your artists to help them get more traction, not just and it's mainly on radio that we're talking about, but look what it does to their catalog. 2 months out of the year on Spotify and all their streaming entities, their streams go up because they've got an original Christmas song that no one's heard, right? And that man, every Christmas it comes out. There are things that you can do. Man, if you have a random acoustic song track that comes out for your artists, you don't just have to send out the things you're promoting to radio. Send a link that allows those PDs to listen to other stuff they've done. Send a list. Get to know. Put their website, put their Facebook, put their EPK. I can tell you right now, anytime I've ever put that in my tracking software, dude, I get about an increase of 60 to 70% more clicks with a new artist because you think they're not reading it, they will click to find out about the artist. They will click because of who's Daniel Andrews, who's this guy, who's this guy. That's why another reason why it's important to have Facebook, Insta, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. They will look. The other thing, you can actually use YouTube as your scenario for them to listen to the single before they download it. Guess what that does for them? That takes them to your client's YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel. They get to see everything that's there. You have a good picture. Guess what they do? What is that? What do? You click. You click and you listen.
And now you've gotten them more likes, more followers, et cetera, and on and so on and so forth. Guys, another thing too, man. If there's something out there you see that's interesting or it helps you and it's on social media or it's a streaming song of a buddy of yours or an artist that you like, man, do that artist a favor and share that on your personal profile. You have no idea how powerful that one share is. And if everybody did that and made a practice of it, there would be a lot less money spent on actual like pay-per-click advertising and all of that, because the organic results that you get when you refer somebody are way stronger than any paid advertising could ever be.
Guys, I'll also encourage you to build on what Mark says. And then, guys, I kind of want to open up for some questions. Since there's very few people involved, I'd love to interact with you. I've run my head for the last 30, 45 minutes, an hour. When you said, Mark, I'm going to build on this. One of the things that you may or may not see doing with what we're doing, as an artist myself, I want to surround myself with people that have a similar mindset. The reality of the fact of the matter is artists want each other to do well, but in most cases, they don't want their fellow artists to do better than them. I'm going to tell you something. Texas music was founded in the middle 1990s, all the way to the early 2000s by guys that stuck together and promoted each other. In 1995, 96, 2000, you didn't see Randy Rogers without Wade Bowen or
nope.
with
They
cross
teamed
getting
up
rag.
and they worked together and they broke through the barriers and the roadblocks instead of complaining and put in 10 years of hard work. Guys, if you're just getting in and you ain't got 10 years, get out. You better be ready to work.
Well, and that's the piece. And also, you also need to do things for other people. Because here's the other thing. Encourage your artists to do collaborations with artists that are outside of their normal realm, right? Do something different, man, because what you can do is you can cross-pollinate fan bases. You can share each other's fan bases. The other thing that I find that's really interesting is if you're running with that group, we've got Co Wetzel's doing it right now. Co Wetzel's got Reed Southall, Pegs in the Rooftops, Kobe Cooper, all these guys that he's touring with, that he's helping build their careers. We've seen the same exact thing with Shane Smith and the Saints, with people booking them, and their career is flourishing because they're working with similar artists that have larger fan bases. Man, that can be done at our level. And you have to encourage your artists. If you got a promotions ring, and I should call it a promotions ring, I don't know if that's the right way to call it, but what you'll see is my guys share each other's stuff. They do it. We play together. We book shows together. You know, the reason why we do that is because we're trying to support each other. Encourage your artists to support. It's huge.
Before we and you're absolutely right, dude. You have to support one another. Your only competition is you guys. Your artist, the other artists, it should be your friend, man. You should be helping them. They're in the same boat you're in. And it doesn't matter if they know more than you or they know less than you. You can learn something from everybody. But before we dive into the Q&A, Dusty, I've got one more gift that I would like to give away tonight. How many of you, I want you to drop in the private chat, number one, are struggling with booking your own shows? Drop a number one in the private chat if you're in that, or in the comments if you're viewing elsewhere. And I'm going to give you all just a few minutes. How many of you are struggling with booking? Now, while y'all do that, I'm going to get the screen ready. Have I got a gift for you? Now, listen, guys, what I'm going to share with you is not the only way to do this. This is not a magic in a bottle. It is just a guide for you to do something a little bit different. And it's going to walk you through step by step how to craft an email to approach somebody about booking you as a newer artist, and how to do it without pissing them off and burning your bridge where they're not going to talk to you anymore. Okay. How you approach these people and how you do your email. I'm going to tell you something, man. When I come across an email that hits my inbox that was well done, I'm going to listen to the song. And I'm probably going to put it in rotation, because I get so much crap every day. Here's my song, and it's a YouTube link, and they didn't read the instructions on how to submit to my station. Guys, do your research and due diligence, man. Stop being lazy and look.
Hey, I got to tell a story, Mark.
Yep, do it real quick. Yep,
who do you think that corrected me when I started doing this with Love by You? It was Mr. Mark Sebby. He actually took the time to tell me, dude, what are you doing? It was actually funny. Yeah,
I would
it was
never
smart.
do that. All right, guys, I want you to take a look at this. This is my, and it's in the Sebby Music Group library. That's something that I offer to my clients. It's a little bit of extra. It's from all my years of doing this. And I was like, man, somebody ought to put together a dang course or like a book or something to help people out. And there's stuff out there. There's a ton of stuff. This is a little bit more directed towards what we do here in the Texas music scene, in my experience in working this scene. So you'll see here, it's got a little letter to all you students. If you were in the SMG Academy, you would be taking this course. This is a actual course that I have, one class that's in there. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to you just for joining Dusty and I today. We appreciate you being here, and I hope this will help some of you. And you know what? If anyone asks you to share this later, because I'm going to remove these live streams, there will be a private link that people can view it later. But if anybody asks you to share this, tell them they need to go and watch the whole webinar so they can get it, just like you had to, because it'll do them some good, and you'll actually be doing them a favor. If you give it to them, they're never going to use it right anyway. All right, here we go. The 5 things to keep in mind before you begin writing your email. Number one, always check your venue's website for any submission specifics. They may or may not have listed. Just make sure you check first to avoid frustrating the venue buyer, the talent buyer, or the agent that does their purchasing, and or the agency. Understand that you are selling a live show. They don't care what you sound like on your CD. You better sound like that if that's what you're going to tell them. You might want to sound like that as a full band. Or you might want to be really honest really quickly so you don't end up screwing yourself out of that venue in the future. Paint the picture in their mind about your music. And you really do need to, even if you're a solo act, you've got to have an amazing, outstanding performance that can be the best you can be. Number 3, look at it from the business's standpoint. Put yourself in that venue's shoes and think about it. What's in it for them? Don't get out of your ego heads, guys. I mean, you're not anything special yet. I'm sorry, you're not. You might not ever be, but you are special if you act right. And if you treat people well, then you will be special, and they will listen to you and they will help you and they will embrace what you're doing and respect you. And when you come across arrogant and cocky and know-it-all and blah, 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 then people are turned off by it, man. And think about these venues when you come across, we're the best live band. They don't want to hear that shit from you guys. Aside from the music and the awesome live show you put on, the bookers and the talent buyers are also paying attention to your image and your branding. They're looking at your websites, guys. They're looking at your Spotify numbers. If you don't think they are, you're crazy. And if you don't have them, that's okay. This is going to show you how to get around that too. How much money you're potentially going to make their venue. How many butts can you put in the seat? How many people can you bring? You know, and I hear artists all the time, well, where's your built-in crowd? That's not their job. Your job is, if they're hiring you to entertain, your job is to try to bring as many people as you can, period, end of story. And if you can't do that, then you better have a damn good show that's going to entertain the people that are there and keep them in the seats, enjoying the alcohol. That is, you are a beer salesman and an alcohol salesman if you're playing at a bar or a restaurant. Festivals and all those other things can be a little bit different scenarios, and we'll cover that in another webinar. It really just comes down to whether you're a good person or not, and if you have a good reputation or not. But in general, I want you guys to think about what the buyers want before you reach out to them, and do your due diligence, do some research. 4, sometimes it comes down to who you know. People like doing business with familiar faces. That's why they keep booking those same artists. They built a relationship. That applies to radio too, guys. We were just talking about that. It's everything you do in this industry. And number 5, do not undersell yourself, but don't oversell yourself. Just be completely truthful. Honesty will get you so much further. All right. So, you know, like here's some examples. I'm going to let y'all go through these. We're not going to eat up all the rest of our time, which is limited on going through this whole thing. That's why I'm giving you a copy of it. I'm fixing to drop that link. Make sure you download this from the drive file and have this. This will help you with your booking, at least get some direction and hopefully answer some questions for you. Okay. And there's some really cool stuff here for some tools down at the bottom of this. I like to use a program called MailerLite. Some people like MailChimp. Some people like Constant Contact. I also use a program called Gmass. That is awesome for your Gmail. If you love Gmail, check out Gmass. And I sent you some links there. Video marketing. There's a company called Dove. Guys, check that out. If you want to embed emails and cool stuff into your actual emails that you're sending out, for your branding and to your fan base and to the radio stations in the industry. That is a cool deal. Also, if you're brand new, go over to Printify, open up a drop shipping store. And when you're ready for real merchandise, you can talk to Mr. Dusty Motes because he just opened up merchandising and I'm going to be hitting for a lot
Thanks
of stuff.
for the plug, Mark.
Yeah, man. Talk a little bit about that real quick before I go on to Linktree.
Guys, so one of the things that we've done is, man, we've opened up a division that's specifically geared. One of my largest income streams is my merch. And I really recognize that, again, man, we were seeing people just really gouging pricing on merchandise, especially with the higher end Bella Canvas shirts and the embroidery. And so we have started a full turnkey merch operation. We offer multiple packages. We do embroidery on hats. We do screen printing. We've also got direct-to-garment printing. as well as koozies and stickers and just about any of that kind of printed stuff. And I will tell you, the one thing I like about the directed garment printing, man, we've added about 10 new customers in the last probably 3 weeks, where we make merch on demand, meaning that we run their website. They run their merch piece on their website. They buy, your customer buys a shirt off your website. The money goes to us. We fulfill the order. We print it. We ship it. We mail it. And you basically make money for nothing. It's around $5 to $6 a shirt for you not even touching the product and not even have to do the work. And it's full turnkey. And it's been amazing. I don't know. There's a picture yesterday. Everybody's kind of wondering what the merch looks like on the directed garment. I didn't know Mark was going to do this. I had a shirt that I did for my buddy Jake Williams. And I do logo design, that kind of thing as well. Man, and dude, it turned out amazing. It fits well. The directed garment shirts are amazing. Like I said, I felt really good. And I'm a merch critic because I know how valuable it is. And for me to like that shirt, we've kind of found some tools. Man, if you want to do a single release and you just want your whole team to wear your stuff, a specific, say anybody that's taking tickets, any type of special deal, we can do 1 shirt. We can do 2 shirts. We can do 10 shirts. We can do 500 shirts. So when you look at it from that perspective, there's things that we can do. Basically, guys,
I've got some business for you. I've got a list for you of stuff I need. So we're gonna be talking here.
Yeah, and man, like I said, guys, we do multiple
And that's
things.
Dusty. Hey guys, not to interrupt Dusty, but if you look on the screen there, Powerhouse Promotions right there, there's his and Mariah's personal emails to get in touch with them.
Yep.
I encourage you to reach out to him. You got your SMG stuff over there. Just like Dusty, I got a full-blown marketing agency. I can help you with album covers if you need them, single artwork, anything that you need that has to do with digital advertising and marketing. If you can't find it with me, I will send you to Dusty. He does what I don't do. I do what he doesn't do, and we both work together and share artists and also help artists find the best sources. And we both, we compare our pricing to try to be, as fair as we can and make sure that we're offering the best service for the bang for the buck that we can.
Mark, I want to build on what you just said, and I'll be short this week. Guys, listen, you're only as good as your network, period. Mm-hmm. You're only as good as your network. We are seeing stellar results. I've got a studio that I work with. He's got his in-house video guy. Man, he's got his in-house. I'm his in-house promotion guy, right? Anything that comes out of there, we share business. I will tell you, you can directly affect your bottom line by networking with people that you know and trust and consistently doing work with them. Working with Mark, working with me, we introduce you to our resources. The more we do with I don't say we, I mean all of us, the more we do with that network, the better off we're all going to be. I encourage you to work with those people.
Yeah, and that's what the TIRA is all about, the Texas Internet Radio Association. In fact, if you look at the bottom there of your screen, you see it scrolling across. It's been scrolling across for a while. If you have not joined the TIRA, and please bear with us, this is a brand new organization. We're still working out bugs and kinks and getting everybody organized and everything before we really launch and start getting crazy. The webinars we thought would be a good way to start building some steam. And Dusty and I are pretty much right now, we kind of know the direction that we're wanting to go with it. We need to bring the other board members and committee members on slowly and surely. So it's going to take a while to build this thing into what it is. But our ultimate goal is to build an industry-wide association of artists, industry professionals, fans, and everything, and to network it into one place where everybody can share information and help each other succeed without paying a bunch of money for it, and be able to use the resources that are tried, true, and tested for today's modern marketing and advertising, man. And that is what we're doing. If you need a website built, if you look right here, just reach out to me. There's my personal cell phone number. You can go to SebbyMusicGroup.com. You can go to SMG Marketing solutions.com. There's all kinds of places to find me. Google my name. If you can't find me, something's wrong with you. That's all I can tell you, because I'm everywhere. Dusty's probably sick of seeing my stuff, man.
No, that's branding, man.
Yeah, you do a good job of it too, my friend. I love it. But real quick, guys, let's get back to this really quick so we can wrap things up. We got about 20 more minutes. Linktree. Dusty had mentioned that if you don't have a link tree, you should absolutely get one. They are very powerful. You can get one for free. I do the one step up from free, and it does everything I need it to do for right now. Canva. I was intimidated as hell by Adobe Photoshop. I spent 3 months trying to learn it. I could never fucking do it. No matter what videos I watched, what I did. I rolled across Canva, and within 2 weeks, it changed my mind. I used to dread doing creative on my own. I used to dread making logos. I used to dread just even making something for my show. And man, boom, it just made sense. This is a platform that's easy to use. The instructional videos are awesome. So go ahead, and if you want to see an example of a link tree, scan that QR code on your screen real quick, and that'll give you an awesome representation of what you can do with your link tree. And I'll give you all a couple minutes to do that, and give Dusty just a minute to breathe there, because he's been, man, he's a powerhouse. That's why you call him Powerhouse Promotions, y'all.
It's actually a funny story behind that, but it's kind of exactly what you're talking about. It's funny. Guys, and also let's be thinking about some questions, because I know we want to do a little smaller round table.
Yes, we are doing that with the rest of our time. Yes, so be thinking about your questions. If you already looked at the link tree, let's go ahead and start that, whether it's private chat or comments. Dusty and I can see them both, and we'll take turns reading out a question, and we'll both take turns giving our answer to them. How about that, y'all? Does that sound good? Drop a 1 in the chat if that works for you.
What do we got? Excuse me.
Look, and go ahead and fire your questions away, man. What questions do y'all have? It could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about radio. If it's music related or something, what's your biggest challenge? Let's get that question out. How do you do this? How do you do that? Who's got something for us? Rachel, I know you got something. And actually, Rachel, pretty sure your mic's unmuted. If you want to talk to us.
Is it unmuted?
Yeah, I unmuted you. You're in the program with us. You're not just watching from the sidelines. So why don't you go ahead and if you got a question, or if you want to bring up any points or anything that you learned from the webinar, man, we'd love to hear from you, because you're in the industry with Dusty and I as well on this side of the fence. So we definitely want to bring you in.
Well, it's been a great webinar, because like I said, I'm new, and I would actually love to sit down with both of you for lunch sometime and talk more shop and figure stuff out, because I came into this cold turkey 3 years ago, and I don't really do radio promotions as much. My artist has a different radio promoter, and he's actually looking to maybe get another one to have 2. I don't know how that works. But just booking and promoting and trying to do the whole social media stuff, I'm new at all of it. So all of the information I'm getting from you guys is great. I appreciate the list you just gave us for booking shows, because that's been one of my biggest challenges this year. I mean, I've gotten better at it. I went from booking a couple of shows a month. Last year, I was up to booking the artist full band and acoustic anywhere from 15 to 20 shows a month. But just getting to know venue artists and how they are, the venue promoters and buyers, it is hard to know, how to reach out to them. So you giving the idea to do your diligence first, because, when I first started, sometimes I would just message them and not even think to look at their website, and it would say, email us here. And then you just kind of make them mad because you're messaging them when they've already got the information on their page that tells you, if you want to book a band, this is how you do it. So your list is great, because it'll tell people, hey, well, literally do your homework first. Go to their webpage and see if they have a link in their live music or their contact us that has a spot for booking an artist or whatever you want to do, because it makes them mad if you keep bugging them and messaging them to where they won't answer back, and you'll never book a show there. And once you do that, everybody in the industry, like you said, they talk. And so you're going to get blacklisted from a lot of venues if you start ticking off enough people. So you want to do that. But I do have questions, because I am new and I'm still having issues with booking. And literally, for my artist, I'm kind of a one-man show at the moment. I do all the booking and the promotions. I mean, he does too. But I would love to know about your class that you have, because you said you have classes, because I've been trying to talk to people about how I can sit down and have lunch with them and just, I mean, I would pay for it to a point. I'm a single mom, so I don't have a lot of money, but I want to learn from somebody that's been doing it so that I can get better for myself, for the artist I have now. And eventually I'd love to build a whole page of artists that I could help. But until I learn more, I don't want to take on too much, because I don't want to mess up their stuff and not get them what they need and promise too much. So sure. I'd love to hear more about your classes that you might have that I could take, or that anybody on here could take, that could help them learn more.
Well, there's, I'm in a lot of things. I got a lot of irons in the fire, and some of them I get started on and then I have to back off of them, because I might as well be a single mom as well. I mean, I don't have any kids or anything, but I got a bunch of irons in the fire, and they're all really expensive irons that have depleted savings accounts, and woe is me or whatever. But man, I'm investing in the future of this music industry, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. So I had this academy. It's the SMG Academy that I've got. That's pretty much just an online library right now. I haven't launched the courses or anything, but they're all in place to be done. And I can do those courses individually and privately, like what we're doing right now through the same platform we're using, where it's not live streamed publicly. And I can do that at any time. And I do offer those services. So if you want to hit me up afterwards with any specific instruction that you might need or whatever, I bet I've got a class for it, and we can definitely talk about that. And it's not always about the money. I mean, anything you can do is always appreciated. As far as to help me with my causes and to fund those things. That's why I ask people for donations, or I charge anything at all. If I was a millionaire, I wouldn't ask out for nothing. I'd just be doing this, you know what I mean, and giving back.
Well, Mark, let me chime in here real fast.
Yeah.
Let me chime in. Guys, here's something funny. I'm going to tell this story because it's the easiest way to convey a message. I had a piano player back 20 years ago. The man that he would always ask for a ride to the gig. Man, after about 15 times, man, he never offered gas money at all. So I finally looked at him. I said, "Hey, man, are you going to give me some gas money?" And he reached in his pocket and gave me $20. Well, what happened the next time we went for the ride, he asked me, he said, "Hey, man, do you need any gas money?" I said, "No, man, I got it." It's about principle. What I've learned from just that event and from what I do now, nothing's free, man. People will give it to you for free, but allow them the choice. And even if they don't agree on a price, offer them something. Man, there's some value in time, effort, and learning, because any resource that you gain from anybody that's done it with any expertise at all is going to reap you some rewards and dividends. And it's not breaking the bank, but man, even if it's sign up, pay for their class. So if they offer a service, buy their service on their TIRA membership, or if we're running something that you can support, run an ad. Man, people are always willing to help if you're supporting them. Think about that. And supporting means all kinds of things. It doesn't mean financial as well, but that's a piece. Think about what Mark said, your little internet guy. I hate to say it, Mark, don't take this wrong. Mark is that internet guy. Mark is that guy that is giving his time and his energy. And there's lots of guys just like him. I'm one of those guys. And my best friends in this business this is the music business. It's not music friends, but my best friends in this business are the ones that do music business really well. Make sense?
Amen, brother. I wanted to bring Dwight is one of the students at the SMG songwriters group that we have over at Goofy's Bar and Grill in Canyon Lake, Texas. That's where we hosted the 3rd annual Texas Internet Radio Chart Awards, where next year we will have the same one. It'll be the Sunday after Mother's Day. So mark your calendars for that. It will be at Goofy's again, just so you know, Dusty. I've already made that decision. Man, they wanted us back. They said that they loved everybody that came, that they had a great time, and that they would like for us to do it again there this year. And I thought it was a really neat place to do it. It was very laid back. Everybody got to meet everybody and network. There was no roped off sections or anything, dude.
It was very
intimate. Dwight is a brand new, not just songwriter, but to music in general. And I'm going to let Dwight talk a little bit if he's there. I see he's there.
I'm here. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Okay.
All right,
I'll
cool.
let you talk a little bit about your experience, and I want you to talk about the songwriters group and what that's done for you as far as so far in your young music career.
Oh, I just from the very first time that I showed up at the songwriters group, everybody was so helpful and encouraging. It seems like everywhere I've turned in this music scene around here, I'm just now getting, involved with all of it and learning, all the ins and outs. But everybody's been encouraging, everybody's been supportive. So I've been very, it's very helpful to have that community involvement. So
Yep. And what would you say the biggest thing that you gained from going to, because a lot of people are sitting at home right now and they might be watching this later and they're like, you know what, man, that sounds wonderful, but there's nothing like that around where I'm at. There's nothing like that. What are some alternatives to that you've discovered through your network that you built with the songwriting group? And what are some ways? I mean, like, I would say number one, just right off the rip, man, if you ain't got something in your area, why aren't you starting something, right? Why don't you be the one, be the leader and take the initiative?
I mean, yeah, I think that you really, I mean, there needs to be something like this, in every community. It's just, you're going to get people who've, oh, you know what? The thing is, it seems like every other person I talk to, when I talk to them that I've just started to learn, when I started to learn to play guitar, when I started songwriting, and everybody tells me, oh, I tried that once and I gave up on it, or, yeah, I got frustrated. It's because those people didn't have a community around them, and so all the people that I've met have really been, it's really helped encourage me to keep me going, to keep you moving forward. You're not going to keep maybe making forward progress if you don't have, that community, I think so.
Dwight did a really cool thing, and I'm going to put something on the screen really quick. We did a crab boil over here at the Red Hots game room, and this is one of my little passion projects. I love slot machines and I love repairing them. The real ones. Yeah, I know how to fix them and restore them and do all that. And I love playing them, of course. I love the gamble. Go figure. I'm a damn musician. Our whole life is a gamble, right? Our whole career is a gamble. Everything we do in this industry, we don't have any guarantee that it's going to work. But one of the cool things is the lady that owns this was a rock drummer. And she and I got to talking, and I want to roll out and preface what I'm fixing to say about Dwight. This idea came from the story I'm going to tell you about Dwight. Red Hot's digital distribution stores. So they have an online sweepstakes gameplay where you can actually win real prizes. In other words, you can win money. And everybody's like, well, isn't that illegal? No, it's not. No, it's completely legal. It's a sweepstakes game company. They follow all the rules that are set up by the law. There's only 2 states in the United States that don't allow sweepstakes, and that's Iowa and Montana. So if you don't live in those states, you can play. And they have their own online thing. And there's a ton of these popping up everywhere. You probably see it on your Facebooks, all the little casinos and stuff that are popping up. And you can play for real prizes. All right. So the thing is that she wanted to figure out how she could help the music scene. And her and I sat down and we talked about this. And I said, you want to really help the music scene? And I go, you know that they get paid like 13 cents, if that, on a spin on Spotify. I mean, if that, it's not even, it's like 1.3 cents or some shit, right, Dusty? What is that now?
Yep. It's so for every 300, it's $1.
Okay. All right. So 300 spins, you make $1. There you go. Thank you.
That's gracious.
Okay.
So as you get
it's gone bigger, down. It's actually gone down.
Well, as you get bigger, it changes, Mark. As it gets bigger, it changes. So though your bigger artists are being paid for being more popular, we're getting jammed.
Let me ask you this, Dustin. What if you as a an industry professional, but also as an artist, what if every time your song was emailed out, every time someone made a purchase at one of these sweepstakes game rooms, one of your artist songs got emailed out, and that artist got 50 cents for every song that got emailed out?
Badass. That would be great. And depending upon how that worked, even if it only amounted to $20 a month, that's $240 a year.
Okay, well, here's the big picture. There is nobody marketing the sweepstakes game rooms, Texas music artists, freaking songs. It's a market that's untapped, bro. And those players love this shit because I've infused Texas Select Beverage Company, the teas and the coffees in a game room.
Yeah.
I've interjected music, right? Live radio broadcasts. Man, this is a hot market for it. And this program that her and I are fixing to roll out is going to be very beneficial to our music scene. So I want you guys go on Facebook, look up Red Hot, see how it's spelled there with a Z, and go give her a like, man. She is struggling right now. I have stepped in and taken on another freaking project, Dusty, and I'm helping her ramp up her game room.
Yeah, we talked about this. This is what we talked about last week, right?
Yep. If you look at her page, you'll see my marketing all over it. You'll know it right away. It's my creative and my designs. You'll know it.
Yeah.
You'll know it. The design you're looking on the screen I did for her.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm doing like all of the stuff that you guys have seen on the screen today. I designed all of this. You saw this?
It's great.
That's from my brother's vet clinic. Did you know in 2022 that 333.2 billion emails were sent and received each day? If you're not using emails, yeah, they're not dead, guys. And people are reading them, but they're only reading the ones that get their attention. You got to learn how to be better at that if you want to break.
Well, let me tell you something, guys. You need to be doing beta testing with your emails and remember tracking that data and looking at what they open and what they click on and what were they looking at when they click. That's how you really hone in. I got to tell you, Mark, that is exactly why I'm finding success.
Yeah.
Do either of you offer a class on that? Because I have no idea how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got classes for that, man. That's an easy one, man. I'd probably bring Dusty in to teach that one with me too, because he's going to hit some points I won't.
Well, I'll tell you guys, the one thing that I did, and I think I kind of mentioned this at the front, and this is what you got to think about. When you do direct mail marketing that's I don't want to call it spam, but it's bulk based, you've got to figure out how to connect with people without addressing them personally, or how to address them personally, even though you're not, is another way to look at it. The other thing is the content of the email, dude, it really needs to be able to be seen on a cell phone, period. You want it to be able to see on a screen. Any longer than that, they won't waste the time. Nope. Promoters that send out lists and lists and lists of people, they're going to struggle sometimes. That's another. Now, they do well once they know you, but man, you have to mix it up. But at the end of the day, you want it short, sweet, direct, and to the point, and give them interaction, whatever interaction means. And then as you test things, you will see and find items that they click on more than others, and that becomes your SOP, right? Your standard operating procedure, because you learn. And then you constantly, when I try things different, the reason why I do that is to improve success in opens, success in clicks, success in downloads.
And guys, hey, don't be afraid to be creative. And I want to show you an example of this. Do you remember me telling you how intimidated I was by Adobe Photoshop? I want y'all to watch this really quick video that I made for the game room.
With the wind, I've been there, baby, I ain't going back again. I tried a little bit of that soul searching. It seems to me that it's been working. I found solid ground, a place where I can stand, and it feels so good to be on my feet again. I'm doing fine by myself. You could tag along, or you can go to hell, 'cause I've been doing fine by myself. Too late to tag along, yeah, but you can go to hell.
So just an example, man. I mean, going from someone that couldn't even make a damn show flyer to making videos is pretty pretty intense, man. And you guys, I promise you, if you spend a year or two with Canva, you'll be right there. That's about how long I've been doing Canva. It's 2 years now, and it completely changed my life. I didn't ever have to hire a publicist. I'll offer as a bonus service to my artists if they need artwork done of any kind and I've got extra time, I don't charge them for it. You're already doing business with me. I'll help you out, you know? And that's just one of the perks of being able to run your own business and being an artist and knowing that when you get nickel and dime for everything, it's freaking terrible. But I want to show you one other little quick thing. You saw that was for a TV station, right? Check this out. This will blow your mind.
Mark, before you do that,
yeah,
guys, listen. One of the key components I've seen in this email. Remember this word. Your 2 words. Your network.
Mm-hmm.
Your network. Your network. And the reason why I say that is man, we've got a network of people that we work with we've got the #1 music lawyer, if not in the country, but in the state of Texas, that is in our network that helps with copyright law. We have a network of people that when you need something, what you give, and what I mean is put into those relationships of your network, you're going to get out tenfold, and you're also going to do business with people that are in your network that help them grow, which helps you grow. I can't keep hammering that. Mark, I know
you're right.
Mark hustles his ass off, and you see shit he's doing all the time. Man, if we could get some of this stuff to really stick, he might slow down a little bit, huh, Mark?
Yeah, man, it'd be great, dude. And I'm always looking to build a team, and I'm looking for like-minded individuals that want to get involved, you know? There's not any money in it right now, man. This is all in development, guys. This is all brand new stuff. I mean, like this right here. You know, I just built this TV station for this lady. This is her gamer and TV station.
My daughter who loves you playing Huff and Puff. Thank you so much, Andy. Love the videos. Woo!
Oh, sorry. You know, and
again,
the point of showing that is this.
I didn't get a wristband when I met you. Ask for one, Barb. We've always got them on us.
This is other stations that are in the network.
Cajun and straight out of Rock Dynamics.
Hey guys, that guy, Texas Music News, that's a part of my network. That's a part of Mark's network. Dude, if you got artists that need publicity, he goes out and he does live photography. We just started a podcast that started today with Brian called Texas Country Today. I've already booked Jared Ray Reddick. I've already booked Daryl Dodd.
TIRA board.
Yeah, I've already booked Jared Ray Reddick. We've already booked Daryl Dodd. We've already booked Jamie Richards. Dude, listen, that is your network if you get involved.
Yep, and that's the thing, man. Build a network with the people that are trying to build a network, not the ones that are keeping you from the things that you need to build your network. And you'll figure out really quick who those people are. When you ask them, well, what about so-and-so and da-da-da? If people are constantly talking trash about other people, man, get away from that. Because you're your own competition. That's it, man. People are going to do what they're going to do, and you'll be able to figure out who's doing right and who's doing wrong. It don't take long. It's very transparent.
It's very transparent. I've had issues with that ourselves from people that have bashed and whatnot, and we just try not to comment on it and move on because you don't want to join that group.
Nope. And you man, keep it off of social media as much as you can, guys. I know you're going to have a day where someone really pisses you off and it's going to come out. As soon as you realize you shouldn't have posted that, just take it down. That's it. And if somebody starts badgering you and beating up on you, ignore it. Don't block them. Don't report them. Ignore it or remove it from your social media. Don't let it affect your day. Keep your mind positive, man. We got enough stuff to worry about and enough problems to have. We don't need to be worrying about social media drama. Who gives a shit? That person probably ain't even buying none of your music anyway.
Guys, I'm gonna probably reiterate something on Mark where I probably don't have as much of a hall pass. Have the maturity not to post it ever. Even if you're having a bad day, yell at the wall. At the end of the day, the mark that makes for an artist or for you as a business can last a lifetime. It hits one person. It could be that one big deal that you're trying to land or that one thing. I know this again, you're free in this country to say whatever you want to, but you're not free of the consequences of saying whatever you want to.
Amen. Amen. Well, Dwight says in the chat there, From a newbie musician perspective, I've made so many cool contacts just getting out and going to picker circles and open mics. Just in a half-hour drive, I could get to one every day of the week or multiple if I had enough energy. And they're everywhere, guys. You telling me that they're not in your area, and then I do a quick Google search and find 15 of them, and then I have to take my time to copy and paste that and re-email you back or call you back and tell you, dude, did you do a Google search? No. Well, then how do you know there's nothing around you, man? Are you doing any research? Wake up, people. Do your research, man. You got all this technology at your hands that you're not using. You're sitting there thinking that you're just going to make it on your music. You have got to put in the work. Your music is not going to stand on its own if you don't market it and advertise it. This is a competitive industry. You've got a lot of people that are just popping in and throwing stuff at radio. And some of these people got money, and you're going to see them hit the chart. And you're going to be like, oh my God, how did he get there? Well, he paid his way there. That's fine. Don't be that guy. You be the guy that gets your boots on and gets shit all over your boots, right? Because you're getting dirty, getting your hands dirty, or girl, and get out there and do the work, man, and earn your right. Earn your right for people to respect you and to trust you and to be like, look, the only thing I could say about that person is that I see them working all the time and hustling. That's it. That's all I can see, and trying to help other people and be that example for a change. Wouldn't it be great if we had a whole network full of those people just really trying to help people instead of that one person that's kind of got control of everything that just kind of sits back and plays games with everybody, trying to play God and move people like chess pieces? Yeah, I don't play checkers, y'all. I play chess. That's why I do what I do. I
kind of wish it was like you guys said it was back in the early 90s and stuff with the other artists, that we could band them together and make another whole movement to start it all over again.
Yeah.
Rachel, that's a choice. The ones that don't do it don't
we're
work with them. The ones that do, jump on it. Because I'm going to tell you, and man, here's something interesting. Some of that is doing business with the right places. So I'm going to call this, not going to name. I've got a studio I do work with right now that, man, there's 10 or 12 guys that we do nothing but work for each other. Nothing. We do the videos with these guys. We do, man. And if you're interested, they do great work. And the cool part about it is they promote and they support. Those are the people that you make a choice to do. They don't talk shit. They don't get in the middle. They lift you up. If you share something, they're sharing it. You know, I see, you know, there's lots of different organizations. TCMA, man, I see them sharing artist posts because it's an artist organization.
Yeah, man, and we're not against, I want to interject. We are not against any of the charts, any of the stations, any of the promoters, anything. We are just here to build a network. We are here to build a network that wants to help. Everybody's going to do what they want to do regardless, but they all have a role in here, and they're all doing help for you guys. Don't ever take it.
The reason why I brought up TCMA is because they've been here for a while, and they're a great example of whether they know you or not, they're going to do things that support what you're doing. They're going to share your post. They're going to share your and do TIRA. We want to be that and more. We want to do as much as we can to help. I'm 50 years old. I'm not going to be doing this much longer, guys, not in regards to touring and playing. And so my focus is to help artists learn from my experience so they don't have to make the same mistakes that I make.
Amen, brother. And that speaks hugely. I mean, because that's what I did, guys. If you want to know the real story behind me, I'm going to tell you right now. I screwed up. I did everything wrong. I did everything I could do to screw myself. I did everything everybody told me not to do. And I thought that, you know, they don't know what they're talking about. I got this. You don't got it. You don't know. Listen to some of the people. You're going to find out, man. Some people will throw you some bad information. Am I right or wrong, Dusty?
You're 100% right.
So you got to be careful and scrub the info and scrub the people and vet the people that you're working with. But at the same time, man, most of the people are really, really there to help. They're trying to help, man. They're doing what they know is best, right? But I want to give you all a really good example. And I see Dusty's artists doing this too. Before we get out of here and wrap this up, I want to show you all a really good example. When you get a team behind you and you start building your network, how you should approach your social media post. In your content on a weekly basis. Okay. And the reason I want to show you this is I don't see enough artists supporting the network the correct way. And it really irks me because I hate to say it, guys, but your team, the people behind the scenes are what are going to make you a success with you doing the right things as an artist and having a great product, a great quality song, good material, excellent live show, merchandise. It's everything you do. And if you're not doing it all, you're not doing it right. You can't have an 8-cylinder engine running on only 3 or 4 cylinders. It's not going to run right. This is one of my clients, Jeff Smithart, and we've actually shared the stage together on multiple occasions. We have been on tour together. This guy is the real deal. He's an older school, guy. But man, he's got Nashville experience. He's got a little bit of everything. He's won some Josie Awards, things like that. But I want you to see how he tags. And then I want you to look, and this was another creative. I did his album cover for him. That was a fun one. This is a fun song too. If you haven't heard it, go check out Psycho Daisy.
Great song.
And we're going to do a cool contest to get Miss Psycho Daisy May for the video shoot that we're going to do. And try to get that video out right as the singles dine out. We'll release that video for a little follow-up. But if you notice, man, Jeff really, he shares, he tags, he goes back, he makes it a personal experience. Look at that. He's being consistent. Guys, pay attention to that when you're doing your branding, and make sure you're shouting out the people. Another great example. Let me pull him up really quick. Another great example is J.R. Herrera. And JR is one of my longest running clients. And we had a business meeting. Dusty, I'll let you know. I'm going to let everybody know. We had a business meeting a couple days ago, and we both sat down, and I said, Bubba, I can't do anything more for you on my level of radio promotion. I've done everything I can, man. You're ready to go to the next step. And this isn't easy for him, man. He was my first client ever, and he's been the one that we've stuck together through thick and thin. But to do the right thing, I got to let him go. He needs to go and experience another promoter for a while. He needs to get more industry connections. He's flattened out. He's utilized everything I've had to offer him, and it helped him. And if you ask him, he'll tell you. But man, they've done a great job, man. He's done a really good job. And one of the things, like Dusty was talking about, I had issues as his promoter with the sound quality of the first few singles we did. And Dusty can attest to this too. You're trying to tell the artist, hey, look, I need you to go and try a different studio. And I just told this artist, hey, look, I need you to go and try a different promoter. I want you to think about the power of that. He did take my advice. He went to Mac Damon at Stone Creek. If any of you are in the San Antonio area, Dusty's got a lot of connections up in North Texas and around some other parts. I'm a huge fan of Mac Damon at Stone Creek and the work that he does. He does a great job. 75% of my artists and everyone he's touched has charted. That's all I can say about that. The proof's in the pudding, and we don't pay to play. That's Sebby Music Group. Neither does Powerhouse. Yeah, Powerhouse Promotions. None of us pay to play. We don't do it. Now, like Dusty said, will I buy a banner for my business on a radio chart? Absolutely. But will I buy a business banner on somebody's internet radio station that's helping me spin my artist? Absolutely. But we're not going to pay to play, and we're not going to let our artists do it. On the ones that we know that are pay to play, we're steering away from that. We're not going to get into that. It's not worth the chart position to compromise the integrity and the artist development that we're working on organically with the people we're working with. And nobody ever had that approach in this business before. This is revolutionary stuff, and I can't wait till we plan the next webinar. Dusty, thank you so much for being here. Let's wrap it up.
Thank you, guys.
Final questions, comments, anything?
I think I'm going to have to get together with you guys after and talk some stuff. I have an idea I kind of want to run by that I've been thinking about, and I wanted to get your guys' opinions on it.
Sure. Well, after we end the live broadcast, just stay in the studio and we can talk really quick.
Okay.
I know Dusty's probably got a million things to do.
I got
put
time.
up
We
the
got a little bit of
chart.
time.
I'm sorry. Hey, for those of y'all watching that are waiting on the chart, it ain't coming out at 10 if you didn't see the post. It'll be out tomorrow morning. You know, I got to get a break too. And I felt that this was really important to take the time to do this. And it's something that's been on my heart. And it's something that has been a dream of mine for the past 3.5 years. And we've finally been able to make it become a reality. And I think it's very important that Dusty and I get to share this information with as many people as we can to help them
100%.
further their careers, and people in the industry that are new to the industry to be able to enable them to better themselves and further their careers, and not meet all the resistance and the gatekeepers that come out. So, Dusty, you got anything to wrap up with?
Nope. I think we're great. Thank you guys for your time, and thank you for taking the time to listen, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, my door's open. I know Dwight and I know Rachel from social media. So anything I can do to help, let me know.
All right. Well, we're going to end the live stream. Rachel and Dwight, hang out for a minute.